It was beautiful.
Oh, baby, you cast a spell on me.
If you're like me, you can always use some more desktop real estate for your digital workspace. Maybe have one screen for fun, one screen for business, so that way while you're working, you can relieve some of your stress. So today we have the AUZAI 1080p external monitor that's powered by USB Type-C, and if you have a full-fledged USB Type-C port like on a MacBook, you can just plug in one cable to get power as well as the video and audio feeds going from the laptop to the screen. So that makes it extremely easy if you ask me. But you can take it even further if you think of it more as a TV, because you can plug in an Xbox, a PlayStation, pretty much anything that has an HDMI port you can use this with. You just need an external power source. We're looking at 15.6 inches, which just happens to be a little bit bigger than the 13-inch MacBook Air that I have. We have an IPS panel with a 16:9 aspect ratio, although they're missing the 1 here. 1920 by 1080 resolution, a color temperature of 6500K, viewing angles of 85 degrees, so that should be pretty good. We even have a 3.5mm headphone jack as well as some built-in speakers, so that's awesome to have. I'm really liking the packaging here. It looks very Apple-like, which I always love. It's not coming out as smooth as an Apple product would, but you know, at least it's got that look. I got it. Inside the box, we do have a plastic screen protector in case you want to protect the screen. I don't care. We have a warranty card, a user manual. We have the actual screen right here. Very lightweight, looking good. We'll put that to the side for now. A microfiber cleaning cloth. You can never have too many of these. A full-size HDMI to mini HDMI cable. A USB-A to USB Type-C cable, as well as a USB-C to USB Type-C cable. So it looks like it actually comes with every cable you could possibly need, although you will need an external power brick if you're not plugging it into a full-fledged USB Type-C port. But then we have the actual monitor itself. Let's get this unwrapped. I'm really excited to see how it looks. Oh yeah, we do have a nice smart cover on top of it so you can keep it nice and safe as you're traveling. And you can also use it to stand up, so I'll show you that real quick. Look at that nice little magnetic flap here to keep it nice and protected. Flip it open. And look at this. Wow, we got the screen right here. We have 2 angles of propping. We have right here, and then you can slant it a little bit more in case you want that look. And you can also set this up vertically in case you want to plug in your smartphone. Now taking a look at the front, we have that big 15.6-inch 1080p display, which is looking very nice matte finish. We have some AUZAI branding down here on the bottom, and the front is just nice and clean with a nice matte black look. The top 75% of it's really thin, and the bottom looks like that's where all the magic's going on because it does get a little bit thicker, although that's only about a centimeter. Over on the left side we have a power button, a little switch to set the settings, and a 3.5mm headset jack. Over on the right side we have the mini HDMI port as well as 2 USB Type-C ports, one for charging and one for if you want to plug it into a MacBook and use it for charging as well as data transfer. Down here on the bottom we have 2 rubber feet to keep it nice and locked into place, as well as 2 speaker grills for the internal speakers. And up top we got nothing, just a very thin design. So this is looking really good so far. So the monitor looks nice, but how does it actually work in the real world? Let's get this plugged in and try it out. So what I'm going to do is actually have this just plugged in with one USB Type-C cable for both power and data transfer, so you can see how easy this is. Got it plugged into the MacBook, and now it should just start booting up. Okay, the MacBook did recognize it. Now when is this going to power on? There we go. It's actually on right now. Looks very dark so far, so we're going to definitely have to increase that brightness. I mean, you can see how dark it is. I can barely see anything. Okay, we are increasing the brightness up. We do have it brighter, so now we can actually see what's going on. Let me see, let me get it propped up how it would normally be. All right, it's looking pretty good. Definitely looks 1080p, nice and sharp. I really like those very thin bezels going around the screen. It looks super nice. So of course with external displays you have a couple of options. You can mirror your main display, you can stretch your main display, or you can have 2 separate displays. But you know, for right now, let's mirror the display so I can compare and contrast and see how good they actually look. Okay, hold up. The colors actually look pretty vibrant. Pretty impressed so far. Let me see, let me put them side by side real quick. You know what? It actually looks like the colors are very accurate. I'm actually impressed. You know, you can take a look for yourself. We'll test out the viewing angles. As you can see, the viewing angles are definitely not too bad. Even from an angle, you can still see what's going on. If you look closely at my logo, you can see how vibrant it is, and it's definitely color accurate. Although remember, this is at max brightness, so if you want to think of max brightness, it's actually not that bright. If you want to use it outside in the sun, it's probably going to get washed out a bit. But you know, if you're inside with some regular brightness, it's looking pretty good. So normally if I'm working with it, I'm going to have it set up just like this, have one screen and one screen, looking good. It's a little hard to show you, but you can see the MacBook Air as well as the AUZAI screen side by side. See how the colors are represented on each? As you can see, it's actually looking pretty comparable. Alright, so now we're going to get the volume maxed out so we can see how good it actually sounds when you're watching videos or maybe even playing games. We got it up to 100%, we're at 1080p 60 Hz, and now, the moment of truth.
At RodrickViews was inspired by the Popeye's chicken sandwich, and it was beautiful.
Oh, baby, you cast a spell on me. Soft, fluffy bun. Love that chicken sandwich from Popeyes.
Get the sandwich for just $3.99. Take it home or get it delivered.
Love that chicken from Popeyes.
You know what? The sound is actually not too bad. It's not the loudest ever, but it'll definitely get you through in a pinch. But you know, generally if I have it plugged into my MacBook, I'm gonna just use the MacBook speakers because those are pretty amazing. If I have something like an Xbox plugged in here, I'm definitely gonna wanna connect a speaker, and that's why we have the 3.5mm headset jack, so I think we're good to go. The video on the other hand looked nice and clear, nice and bright, 60 frames per second, no problems there. I liked it. This vibrant orange background might actually help you check out the viewing angles a bit better. Look at that. You can actually read it way over here. Not that you would really want to, but you could. So it's actually not bad. I'm actually digging this. I mean, it does get a little bit darker, but you can still see what's going on. As far as latency goes, I think there is a little bit of latency, although it's not too bad. Definitely not a game changer. Although if you're playing games, then it might be a game changer because, you know, that little bit of latency will definitely make a difference when you're playing online, especially. Although it's really hard to tell. It feels like when I'm just using it by itself, it does feel like there is a slight delay, like really, really slight. You have to be looking for it to see it. But when I see them both side by side, kind of looks like they're in sync. I don't know, it's really hard to tell, so it's probably not that big of a deal unless, but you know, if you're a gamer, any latency is an issue. But it's looking really good, very smooth, definitely keeping up with everything. And it's very crisp and clear too. I can definitely see what's going on here. Although, you know, 1080p versus whatever MacBook displays are a higher resolution, so it is a lot sharper over here. But for 1080p, it's definitely looking good. All in all though, this monitor is definitely looking good. Easy plug and play access to anything you want. Whether it's a gaming system, a laptop, a Fire Stick, you name it, you can just plug it in here, get some power, and you're good to go. I can definitely recommend this if you want a nice external display to use on the go with whatever you want to use with it. I mean, this is pretty cool. It's so thin. It's about the same thickness as the MacBook display up top, although it gets thicker on the bottom because, you know, they got to put all the electronics somewhere. But it definitely looks good. Definitely one of the better displays that I've used. And I would really be fine throwing this in my laptop bag with my laptop to get that extra screen real estate that I so desperately need all the time.